questions to be answered. And I'm a specialist for moderation, so I may leave. And thank you very much for helping the community to solve their problems. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Heike. And you have deserved a little break now. And we do what we have done yesterday as well. So we take a look at question and answers, important things to know for our different competition categories. And I'm here with the different head judges, and because they are very busy at the moment, I'm here with one judge per question session, I would say. Lucas, head judge for regular category. Let's start with some important things about the second day challenge. We just released that, I think, some hours ago, and teams are working on that. And there are some questions about the rules, because we have now announced a new game field with new topics, but which other rules apply for this challenge?
Yeah, thanks, Markus, for the introduction. So for the second day challenge, in general, the normal rules we know from the regular category apply. So you have a usual run, you have 2 minutes to solve your task. Your robot will start in the starting area as in a normal competition as well. So the overall setting for the second day challenge is more or less identical. You're just receiving a new game for that.
Okay, so same rules, but just a bit new game field and same task. And then there was a question about do I need to do all tasks all together? Can I start with the first or the last one? What is there information about that?
Yes, it's more or less the same as you know it from the normal tasks as well. You can choose the missions you want to solve. You can solve them in the order you want to solve them. You can combine multiple tasks if you can do that. And if you finished with a task, just stop your robot where it is and end your one. So the timer does not count upwards without the robot doing anything. And then you can have a very great result in this second day challenge.
Okay, and connected to the challenges, of course, there is the question of perhaps randomization. And there is no randomization at second day challenge, or?
Yes, that is correct. There is no randomization for the second day challenge. And that also means you can hard code your solution for the second day challenges. So you don't have to worry about randomization and checking all the objects. You know all the positions of the objects and can just solve them as fast as possible.
Okay, and then there is a difference in the game with the finish area, because for the normal games, the finish area, you can get some points if you be there at the end. But here you don't get points for that. So what is the situation at the end of a run?
Yeah, in a normal run, there is this extra task. The robot has to come back to the starting area and you get points for that. But it's not involved in this second day challenge. So just make sure that your robot stops immediately after you have solved the tasks. In that case, your time will as short as possible and you can be better than other teams. If you have the same points, then your run will be better because you have solved these missions faster.
Okay, now talking about points again, I think you mentioned that earlier. Just very briefly, how does the ranking work now with the second day challenge? If we take a look at the results on Sunday, what is in the combination of the first day and the second day, the ranking?
Yeah, we have 2 runs from the first day and 1 run from the second day, and we will just take the better run from the first day and the run from the second day and sum the points up, and that will be used as main ranking factor. Only if you are even after some conditions, we will take a look at the worst run from the first day. So do not worry if one of the runs was not that good. It might not influence your ranking.
Okay, and I think if you want to read that in more details, you can always take a look at the event website, because at the results section of the event website at WRO2021.org, we have the ranking factors listed, so you can see what is happening if, for example, the points are the same or the time is the same or something like that. Then the most important thing is uploading of videos in regular category. We had a deadline some hours ago. I hope that many teams uploaded videos. Is it the same process for the second day challenge now?
Yes, the process for the second day challenge will be more or less the same. The only difference is you only have to upload one video for the second day challenge. So just make the best video you can, solve the task as fast as possible, and then submit your video. And maybe make sure not to submit it in the last minutes. If you are already finished and can not improve, just submit your video. That will make the job of the judges a little bit easier.
And perhaps even the job of the server, because then we can make sure that we have no problems with our cloud. So please upload in time or even a bit before. That helps everyone in the judging. Do you want to say something more?
Yeah, I just want to remember all teams that we have a page for questions and answers on the WRO website under WRO-association.org. There in the menu you find the competition, and then there's questions and answers, and you will find many questions around the second day challenge there already. Especially for the junior age groups, there were some questions about the pillars, if they have to be upwards or not, or upright or not. They do not have to be upright in the yellow parking base. They can lay on the side. And in the senior age group, there was a question about the cars, if the cars have to be in an upright position. That is not necessary either. So take a look at the Q&A question page. Then you will find your answer right away and do not have to wait for our email responses.
Yeah, and if you have questions, you can ask us online as well. So please use that and not write us individual messages. That is a big help as well. So everything for regular category. So thank you so much, Lucas. And I think you will now go back and watch videos, score videos, enjoy that, and have fun while watching that as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that is about regular category. And now we take a look at the other category. So the open category. Dani, welcome here again for the Q&A session. And you told me one thing earlier that that is a surprising thing about open category. You don't have that much questions, or?
Yes, it's very unlike regular category in that, it's not as precise, and you have to be in certain places, move certain things. Your model has to be certain sizes. I mean, the only restriction we normally have with face-to-face competition is that you present your exhibition and your project in a cubicle of 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters high. And in this case, we've encouraged people to stay in the same area. But I mean, that makes it a lot easier. And then obviously you're trying to sell the solution to your project to the judges. So it sort of takes out an exhibition or a sales environment and trying to convince people that your project will work for a solution. So much more free flow and not so specific. We have limits of times for presentations, etc. But even the hardware and the software now within open category has totally opened up. You don't have to use Lego education or Lego products, branded products specifically. So, that's opened it up entirely. In fact, it's a test for the judges now because suddenly we have to upskill, and know a lot more than we did before.
I can imagine that it's much more challenging if much more robot technologies can be used in this. And is it then a challenge to judge it online? Because you mentioned that there were some technical issues when entering a Zoom room or something like that?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, fortunately, it's run very well up to now. And the going into a Zoom room, we have an interview host who controls the Zoom room, but that becomes the waiting room. And in fact, they set up two breakout rooms so that we can, while we're judging one team with the judges in one breakout room, we can bring in the second team or the third or the fourth into the other breakout room, give them time to set up, and then the judging happens in the other room, and then those leave, and then the judges move to breakout room 2, and then while the judges are judging over there, the following team comes into the waiting room and gets put into a breakout room again. So fortunately, we've only had to reschedule one, but as I said, it's a test for our judges because they've had to upskill to become interview hosts with breakout rooms and move and assign people around. But they've really taken to the task, and my utmost respect for doing it so quickly and so efficiently.
But very good to hear that there are not any major problems with the technical setup. How many teams did you judge so far?
So there are 54 in total, and so we're halfway. That's 27 teams. In fact, as we speak now, they've restarted. So basically we had a 3-hour session yesterday, and we had a 3-hour session this morning, and now we've got a 3-hour session this afternoon and another 3-hour session tomorrow. So we are halfway through, and the judges are away from actually attending interviews on the online scoring have actually started entering the scores for the teams that have been completed. We've also obviously recorded all the interviews so that those can be used again in deliberation after the final interviews have been completed.
Okay. Deliberation is a good keyword, because a question we sometimes get is how does the overall judging work in open category? Because at the beginning, the teams send in a report and a video that is already collected some days before. I assume that the judges take a look on that. Then now we have the Zoom live interview. How does it work, and how does it work with all the different judges? Because open category is not, as you mentioned, so precise.
Yes.
So it is more subjective perhaps, but how can we guarantee a fair judging process?
Well, you've made the question so difficult, I'm not sure I can answer it.
So what is the judging process?
so-
It's an easy question.
So effectively, pre-competition, we have a video and a report which are part of the scoring process. There's a whole rubric into topical areas of programming, mechanical design, engineering design, teamwork, etc., etc. But the video really is there to give the judges an idea of the area that is covered with their solution and which part of the theme they're actually going to deal with. The report is obviously the research beforehand, and we can see where they've looked, how they've approached it, who did what, where they got the idea, and very, very importantly, the report is utilized for the judges to prepare questions pre-interview, so that they don't sit there with their stuck, not knowing what to ask. At least they've got prepared. And it was in face-to-face, it wasn't that important because you could see the project and walk around, etc. Here we have one opportunity to see the presentation, and it's better to actually have some prepared questions because you won't have too much time to think about that. As far as the scoring goes, I'm not going to talk about the past. Let's talk about the online competition specifically. Is that in each age group, the teams were divided into 2 groups, Group 1 and Group 2. And then we also divided the judges, 6 judges, into Group 1 and Group 2 of 3 judges each. And then those scores go into a ranking for Group 1 and for Group 2. Okay, so let's talk 8 teams per group in the age group. And effectively that ranking leaves us with 8 teams in a certain position. Because not all the judges have seen all the teams, okay, we then take the top 5 from each group, okay, and then what happens is all the judges at the same time are then resent the interviews so that they can then catch up on why the other judges have got their top 5 in their order. And then what happens in deliberation is the one group of judges will have to convince the other group of judges between 1 and 1, 2 and 2, etc., and deliberate on a final top 10 within the 5 from each group. So it is quite technical. We do that manually, and obviously we will publish the rankings eventually, but that doesn't happen as soon as obviously regular and the surprise rule.
Of course, if we publish the ranking for open categories, then everyone would already know who has won. And I know from experience that this deliberation may take until the very last minute, because you need to talk a lot. You need to talk about, what is in the, as you said, judging group A and B, and then you have teams on the first place in both judging groups. You need to discuss together,
Yes.
and that can take a lot of time. And then you, if you want to re-watch the interview or the report or the video, then it takes time. But I think it is worth taking this time, because it's just a good signal for the teams that they know that a lot of judges care about their projects and to find the best result.
Very much so. And I absolutely love, and I don't do it now, I did as a head judge for an age group category, but it's one of the exciting times. It's very tough and very challenging as a head judge for an age group to actually deliberate, because you can't show any bias. You can't encourage people's opinions. Okay, what you're doing is asking questions to guide them to make the right decisions. And yes, there is pressure, because sometimes it takes long, and it depends, because obviously it's subjective and everybody has different opinions, which makes it really interesting. And we have in the past got to the point where effectively for a deadline to finish the ranking between team 5 and 6 or 3 and 4 or 10 and 11, for example, is we've just had to go to the vote.
Yeah, okay, that's how it is perhaps, but I still assume that the judges try to find the best possible solution to have a fair ranking for the teams.
Very much so. From a judging perspective and from a head judge's perspective and from a main head judge perspective, effectively when we have completed all the judging for all the teams and the ranking is in place, we've got to be comfortable in our own minds and sleep well that we've actually got the fairest and best decision at the time.
Then I really hope that you sleep well the next 2 nights as well when thinking about all this process. And
it'll take a week to recover.
Yeah, okay, but that is okay. If the teams have the results on Sunday, then they are happy and you can recover. Say hi to all the judges from us and say thank you for all the hard work they do. And now we come to the third category and our other head judge, Alexander in Russia.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
Hi again.
One more time.
So I hope you are fine, and I did not had chance to take a look at what is happening in Future Engineers so much. So can you explain what has happened in the last hours and if there were any issues or problems that we can talk about?
Yeah, actually, I already previously said about our main issues. That the main issue so far is actually we have two sort of issues. One is language barrier, that it's quite difficult sometimes to explain, especially without any translator to teams, what exactly they need to do. Because we found that not so many teams read the rules carefully, accurately. Yeah, and we need to explain some points of the rules. And another barrier or issue we met is related to, again, the rules, that sometimes we judges just have no ability to show teams exactly what they need to do, and we need to do this by our words. We need to repeat again and again what they need to do. They do not understand us, and we are trying to say in different way what they need to do, explain why they need to do this exactly the same manner, because it is described in the rules. So yeah, this is the main difficulties we have so far. Yeah.
So you could say again, reading rules is very important. That is the main issue. But could it be as well because Future Engineers is a new category that people don't know what they need to do at the first international event for Future Engineers, because it's the first time, of course?
Yeah, exactly. For example, in the what made the main difference with the previous years with other competitions, that we have a repairment. We allow teams to do a repairment actions. So they allowed to do so one in a run. So if something goes wrong and the robot stuck near to the wall and didn't move in, so if it is not moving, so we allow the team to do something, at least restart the robot to run it again, right? But the rules are currently saying that the robot needs to be put in the middle of the section. The robot is where the robot was stopped, right? So, and this is the part so no one expected, but it is described in the rules, but no one probably know how to do this as per the rules, right? And this is the main difficulty here. So yeah, this is something new which has appeared only in the Future Engineers game rules, but hopefully teams, especially for tomorrow, will get knowledge how to do repairment, and tomorrow we'll have less issues with teams.
Okay, do you think that there's something more the teams can do better than just reading the rules? Is there any technical problems with Zoom or the webcams or something else you can share?
Actually, we solved most of the issues with cameras with the field yesterday during testing sessions. So it was very they were very successful, I believe. So we received some questions from team from teams, and we were able to discuss these questions and help them to understand rules in proper manner. So yeah, so today we almost have no issues with cameras and with field, just with robots, you know, but it's as usual on the competition. This is as usual on the competition, because always when judging is started, robots don't want to work in proper manner.
Yeah, this is a part of that robots have their own life, I guess. Do you have anything else you want to share for future engineers, or we just keep it short if there are no other questions or problems?
No questions anymore from my side. Yeah, I need to return to the judging session.
Okay, then enjoy watching the teams and helping them, and thank you for your work, and all for the other judges and future engineers as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is more or less the end from our question and answer session on regular category, open category, and future engineers. If you have some more questions, you can always come to us and visit our website. Our national organizers and teams can use the support system and ask us some questions. You find information on our event website as well in the competition parts. For example, you can download the second day challenge from today as a PDF file, so you can really read what is in the rules. And on our WRO association website, you can find updated question and answers as well, some with photos to explain you different situations as well. Yeah, I think before we come to the next topic of today, we can just look back again and take a look at one of our last international finals, 2017 in Costa Rica. Let's take a look at the movie of Costa Rica and enjoy how beautiful international final in a warm weather country can be.